Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of her ship, watching the battle through the large window. Space was full of bright flashes as weapons fired. Human ships flew next to alien ships, all fighting together against their common enemy. The Devourers were losing. After 3 long years of war, the monsters that ate entire planets were finally being pushed back. Elena could see their dark ships moving toward the big crack in space where they came from. Soon this nightmare would be over. "Captain, we're getting signals from Admiral Kethver," said Lieutenant Chun from her station. "He wants all human ships to move forward and finish the Devourers." Elena nodded. The Xanthari Admiral had been a good ally during the war. His blue-skinned people were smart fighters, and their technology had helped humans learn how to hurt the Devourers. Without the Coalition, Earth would have been eaten long ago. "Tell all ships to prepare for the final push," Elena ordered. "We end this today." The human fleet moved forward. Elena counted her ships, 57 vessels of different sizes, from small fighters to big battleships like her own Defiant Dawn. They had lost so many friends during this war, but the survivors had become tough and smart. The Devourer's ships were strange things that looked more like living creatures than machines. They were black and twisted, with parts that moved like tentacles. Even now, as they retreated, they kept trying to grab human ships with energy beams that could drain the life from anything they touched. "Distance to the dimensional rift?" Elena asked. 2 million kilometers and closing," reported her navigation officer. "The Devourers are almost at the opening." Elena felt excited. Once the Devourers went back through that crack in space, the Coalition would seal it forever. No more worlds would be eaten. No more children would disappear in the night. The galaxy would be safe. That was when everything went wrong. The first hint came when Elena noticed the Coalition ships changing position. Instead of chasing the Devourers, they were spreading out around the human fleet. She frowned, watching the movement patterns on her screen. "Lieutenant Chun, ask Admiral Kethver why his ships are moving that way," she said. Chun tried to contact the alien admiral but got no answer. She tried again, then looked up with worry in her eyes. "Captain, they're not responding to our calls." Elena felt something cold in her stomach. She had learned to trust her feelings during the war. "All ships, this is Admiral Vasquez. Form defensive positions. Something is wrong." But it was too late. The Coalition ships opened fire on the humans. Elena watched in shock as blue energy beams hit the human vessel Braveheart. The ship's shields failed in seconds, and then the hull began to crack open. Air and fire poured out into space as the ship died. "What are they doing?" Chun screamed. More Coalition ships fired. The human destroyer Quick Strike exploded in a ball of light. Fighter ships tried to escape, but alien interceptors chased them down one by one. Elena's mind struggled to understand what was happening. These were their allies. They had fought together for 3 years. They had saved each other's lives countless times. "All ships, this is Admiral Kethver of the Coalition fleet," came a voice over the radio. The Xanthari Admiral sounded calm, as if he was discussing the weather. "Humanity has served its purpose in this war. You have helped us defeat the Devourers, and we thank you for that. But you have also shown yourselves to be too dangerous to continue existing." Elena grabbed her communication device. "Kethver, what are you talking about? We're allies." "We were allies when it was useful," the alien replied. "But we have watched you humans during this war. You adapt too quickly. You find solutions where there should be none. You refuse to accept limits that other species understand. Today you helped us defeat one threat to galactic peace. Now we must eliminate the other threat." "The other threat?" Elena could not believe what she was hearing. "You, Captain Vasquez? Humanity itself?" Around Elena's ship, the battle was turning into a massacre. Human ships were outnumbered 5 to 1. The Coalition had planned this perfectly, waiting until the Devourers were almost gone before springing their trap. The brave Heart was gone. Quick Strike was gone. Elena watched the carrier New Hope get hit by so many energy beams that it simply disappeared in a flash of light. Hundreds of human lives ended in seconds. "Captain, we have to run." Lieutenant Chin shouted over the noise of alarms. Elena looked at her screens. 6 human ships were trying to escape. The rest were either destroyed or about to be destroyed. Her own ship shook as coalition weapons hit its shields. Why? She asked into her communicator, still trying to understand. Why betray us now? Kethver's voice came back, and now he sounded almost sad. Because, Captain, you humans never know when to stop. You push boundaries that should not be pushed. You ask questions that should not be asked. During this war, we watched you turn impossible situations into victories. We watched you adapt our technology in ways we never imagined. We watched you become something we cannot control. Another human ship exploded near Elena's position. She could see escape pods floating in space, but coalition fighters were shooting even those. We cannot allow a species like yours to exist in our galaxy, Kethver continued. You would eventually threaten everything we have built. This betrayal is necessary for the greater good. Elena felt anger burning inside her. The greater good? You're murdering us. We are preventing a future war. Your species would have turned against us eventually. We know this because we have studied you. You never accept being ruled by others. You always want to be free, to explore, to change things. This makes you dangerous. Elena's ship shook again. The shields were failing. Around her, only 4 human ships were still fighting. 4 ships out of 57. All remaining human. Vessels, this is Captain Vasquez, she broadcast on the emergency channel. Run, get to the edge of the system and jump to hyperspace. Someone has to warn Earth. Captain, what about you? Came a voice from one of the other ships? I'm going to try something, Elena said. She turned to her crew. Chun, can we reach Earth on long-range communications? Maybe if we boost power from the engines. Do it. Elena's ship limped toward the edge of the battle while her crew worked frantically. Behind them, the last 3 human ships were fighting desperately against overwhelming numbers. She watched the destroyer Iron Will disappear in a cloud of fire and metal. Communications ready. Chun reported. Elena grabbed the microphone. She could see coalition ships moving to intercept her, but maybe she had enough time. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Human Fleet to Terra Command. Emergency broadcast. The coalition has betrayed us. Repeat, the coalition has betrayed us. They planned this from the beginning. They used us to defeat the Devourers, and now they're trying to wipe us out. Assume all human colonies are under attack. Trust no one outside our species. Whatever happens, survive. Make them pay for what they've done today. The transmission ended as coalition energy beams finally broke through her ship's shields. But Elena smiled grimly as her ship jumped into hyperspace. The message had been sent. The war between humanity and the galaxy had begun. 6 months had passed since the betrayal at the dimensional rift. Dr. Sarah Chun pressed her face against the small window of her laboratory and looked up at the night sky of Kepler 442b. 3 bright dots moved slowly across the stars. They were not natural objects. Coalition warships were coming. Sarah turned back to her work table where dozens of small glass containers sat in neat rows. Each one contained a different type of Earth bacteria that she had been changing for the past 4 months. When the first reports came in about coalition attacks on human colonies, Sarah knew her small mining world would eventually become a target, but she also knew something the coalition did not. She was not just a doctor studying alien plants. She was also one of the best genetic engineers Earth had ever produced. Computer, show me the atmospheric readings for today, she said. Numbers appeared on her screen. The oxygen level was now 21%. Exactly like Earth, the temperature had risen by 8 degrees in the past month. The bacteria she had released were working faster than she had hoped. Sarah heard footsteps outside her lab. The door opened and Marcus Webb, the mining station's chief, walked in. His face was pale with worry. Sarah, we just got a message from the orbital sensor station. Those ships will be here in 6 hours. There are 15 of them, all coalition. Military vessels. Sarah nodded calmly. How many people are still on the planet? 237. Most of the miners and their families. We can't evacuate everyone in time, and even if we could, where would we go? Every human colony is being hunted. Sarah walked to her window again. Kepler 442b had been a harsh world when humans first arrived 3 years ago. The air was thin and cold. Plants from Earth could not grow in the alien soil. The colonists had to live in sealed buildings and wear breathing masks outside, but that was before. Sarah released her modified bacteria into the atmosphere. Marcus, send a message to everyone on the planet. Tell them to stay inside their homes and seal all doors and windows. Also tell them to put on their old breathing masks, the ones we used when we first arrived. Marcus stared at her. Sarah, what are you talking about? The air is fine now. We haven't needed masks for months. Sarah smiled, but it was not a happy smile. The air is fine for humans. It will not be fine for our visitors. She pointed to her computer screen where she was watching the bacteria levels in the atmosphere. Do you remember when I first started working on terraforming this planet? I told everyone I was trying to make the air breathable for humans. Yes, and it worked. You're a hero for what you did. I did not tell you the whole truth, Sarah said. Quietly, the bacteria I created did not just produce oxygen. They also produce other chemicals. Most of these chemicals are harmless to humans because our bodies know how to process them. But alien bodies are different. Marcus stepped closer to the computer screen. What kind of chemicals? Ones that attack the nervous systems of Xanthare, Vaxilin, and Krollex species. The three main groups in the coalition military. When they breathe our new atmosphere, their nerves will stop working properly. First, they will feel dizzy. Then they will have trouble moving. After an hour, they will be unconscious. After 3 hours, they will be dead. Marcus sat down heavily in a chair. Sarah, you turned our planet into a weapon. I turned our planet into a fortress, she corrected. The coalition thinks they can hunt us down like animals. They think we are helpless refugees hiding on colony worlds. They are wrong. Outside, the 3 dots in the sky were getting brighter. The coalition ships were close enough now to start scanning the planet. Sarah knew they would see a human colony that appeared to be completely defenseless. No weapons, no military ships, no shields. Protecting the settlements. All stations, this is Admiral Thix of the Coalition Third Fleet, came a voice over the radio. Human colonists of Kepler 442b, you will surrender immediately and prepare for evacuation. Any resistance will result in the destruction of your settlements. Sarah picked up the radio microphone. This is Dr. Sarah Chun, speaking for the human colony. We surrender, we have no weapons and no way to fight you. Please do not hurt the children. She made her voice sound scared and weak. Let the coalition think they had found another group of helpless humans. Excellent, Admiral Thix replied. We are sending down landing ships now? All humans will gather in the main settlement for processing. Sarah turned off the radio and looked at Marcus. Now we wait. An hour later, coalition landing ships began touching down near the human settlements. Sarah watched through her laboratory window as alien soldiers marched out of their ships. They wore full environmental suits, but she could see them moving with confidence. They thought they were about to capture another human colony without any trouble. The first sign that something was wrong came 20 minutes after the aliens left their ships. Sarah saw one of the Xanthari soldiers stumble while walking. He caught himself and kept moving, but she could tell he was confused. 10 minutes later, another soldier fell down completely. His squad members helped him up, but he could barely walk. Soon, more aliens were having trouble moving in straight lines. Sarah, look at this, Marcus said, pointing to another group of coalition soldiers. They're taking off their helmets. Sarah smiled. The aliens had tested the atmosphere and found it safe to breathe. They did not know about her special bacteria because the chemicals they produced were invisible to most scanning equipment within an hour. Coalition soldiers were collapsing all over the planet. Their officers tried to call for help, but their voices sounded slurred and strange over the radio. Some tried to get back to their ships, but they were too weak to walk that far. All human colonists, this is Admiral Fix, came a weak voice. Over the radio. What have you done to us? Sarah picked up the microphone again. We adapted, Admiral. Humans are very good at adapting. This is biological warfare. You have violated the rules of civilized conflict. You mean the same rules you followed when you murdered thousands of humans at the dimensional rift? When you betrayed allies who trusted you? When you decided to hunt down human children? Sarah's voice became cold. We do not care about your rules anymore. There was silence from the coalition ships for several minutes. Then Admiral Thix spoke. Again, his voice now very weak. We underestimated your species. Yes, you did. And you will keep underestimating us until it is too late. By the third hour, all the coalition soldiers on the planet were dead. Their ships tried to leave, but most of the crews had also been affected by breathing the planet's air during landing operations. Only 2 ships managed to escape into space. Sarah knew those ships would report back to Coalition Command. They would tell their leaders that the humans on Kepler 442b had somehow turned their own planet into a weapon that killed alien soldiers while leaving humans unharmed. But that was exactly what Sarah wanted. She wanted the Coalition to know that humans were not helpless victims. She wanted them to know that every human colony might be dangerous in ways they could not imagine. 3 days later, Sarah received a coded message from Captain Marcus Torres, who commanded a small group of human survivors hiding in the asteroid belt of the Ross system. His message was short but important. Heard about what you did on Kepler 442b. We are doing our own hunting now. The Coalition supply convoy in Sector 7 will not reach its destination. They want to hunt us? Fine, let us see who the better predators are. Sarah smiled as she read the message. The Coalition had thought they were fighting a weak species that would run and hide. Instead, they had awakened something much more dangerous. Humans were learning to fight back. And they were very good at learning. 2 years had passed since the Coalition began hunting humans across the galaxy. Commander Zara Okafor stood in the command center of her hidden base, built inside a huge asteroid in the Void Nebula. Around her, dozens of human officers worked. At their stations, planning attacks on Coalition worlds, the war had changed everything. Zara was no longer the peaceful cargo ship captain she had been before the betrayal. Now she commanded the largest group of human survivors in known space. Her fleet had grown from 3 damaged ships to 47 vessels of different types, all captured from the Coalition or built in secret shipyards. Commander, we just received reports from Strike Team 7, said Lieutenant Park, looking up from his communication station. The attack on the Zentari fuel depot was successful. No Coalition ships will be getting supplies in that sector for at least 2 months. Zara nodded. Good. What about the convoy in the Rigel system? Captain Torres hit them yesterday. 8 Coalition supply ships destroyed, all crew killed. He also captured their navigation computers, so now we know where 3 more convoys will be traveling next week. Zara walked to the large display screen that showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked Coalition-controlled worlds. Blue dots showed human survivor groups. Yellow dots were places where humans had attacked in the past month. There were a lot of yellow dots. The Coalition still thinks they are hunting us, Zara said to her officers. They do not understand that we are hunting them now. The truth was that humans had learned to fight in ways the Coalition never expected. Instead of trying to protect colonies, humans had become nomads who moved constantly through space. Instead of building big fleets that could be easily found, they used small groups that struck quickly and disappeared. Most importantly, humans had stopped following the rules of civilized warfare. When the Coalition decided to murder human families, they had created an enemy that would do anything to win. Commander, Dr. Chun is calling from Kepler 442b, Lieutenant Park announced. She says it is urgent. Zara pressed a button on her command chair. Sarah, what do you have for us? Dr. Chun's voice came through the speakers, but she sounded excited and scared at the same time. Zara, I have made contact with something impossible. You need to come here immediately. What kind of contact? The kind that could change everything. I cannot explain over an open channel, but I will say this much. We are not the only species that the Coalition betrayed. Zara felt her heart beat faster. Sarah, are you saying what I think you are saying? Some of them survived, Zara. Some of them remember who their real friends were. The communication ended, leaving Zara staring at the display screen. She knew exactly what Sarah meant, even though the doctor had not said the name out loud. Everyone knew that name. Everyone feared that name, the Devourers. 3 days later, Zara arrived at Kepler 442B with her fastest ship and her best soldiers. The planet looked very different from the last time she had visited. The sky was now green instead of blue, and strange purple plants grew everywhere. Dr. Chun had been busy changing the world in ways that would make Coalition aliens even more uncomfortable. Sarah met Zara at the landing pad. The doctor looked older and thinner than before, but her eyes were bright with excitement. "Follow me," Sarah said. "But do not be afraid of what you see. They are different now." She led Zara through the settlement to a building that had not been there during Zara's last visit. It was made of some kind of black metal that seemed to move slightly when Zara looked at it. The walls had patterns that hurt her eyes if she stared too long. "Sarah, what is this place?" "A dimensional anchor. They cannot exist in our reality for very long without it." They walked inside, and Zara immediately felt something wrong with the air. It was thick and heavy, like breathing water. The walls pulsed with a slow rhythm, like a giant heartbeat. At the center of the building was a pool of dark liquid. As Zara watched, something rose out of the pool. It was tall and thin, with too many arms and a face that kept changing shape. This was a devourer, but not like the monstrous creatures humans had fought during the war. This one seemed almost peaceful. "Greetings, human commander," the creature said in a voice that came from everywhere at once. "I am called Whisper in the Void. Your Dr. Chun has told us much about your situation." Zara stepped forward, fighting the urge to reach for her weapon. "You are supposed to be extinct. We saw your ships get destroyed at the dimensional rift. Many of our kind did die that day. But some of us escaped into pocket dimensions before the Coalition sealed the main rift. We have been watching what happened to your species since then." "Watching? Why did you not help us sooner?" The Devourer's shape shifted, becoming more human-like. "Because we wanted to see what you would become. The Coalition told us that humans were dangerous, that you would eventually turn against all other species. We needed to know if this was true." Zara felt anger building inside her. "And what did you decide?" "We decided that the Coalition was correct about one thing: humans are dangerous. But they were wrong about why this is important. The galaxy needs dangerous species. It needs species that refuse to accept limits, that push boundaries, that evolve constantly." Dr. Chun stepped forward. "Zara, they have been living in pocket dimensions for 2 years, but they remember everything. They remember who fought beside them against the Devourers that went insane. They remember who betrayed them at the dimensional rift. The Coalition used both our species," Whisper in the Void continued. "They let us fight each other while they prepared to destroy us both. Now they hunt your people while telling the galaxy that they are bringing peace. But we know the truth." "What truth?" Zara asked. "That the Coalition does not want peace. They want control. They want a galaxy where nothing changes, where no new species can challenge their power. They would rather rule over a dead universe than lose control of a living one." The Devourer moved closer to Zara. "Your species and ours are similar in important ways. We both adapt quickly. We both refuse to accept defeat. We both learn from our enemies and become stronger." "What are you suggesting? An alliance?" "Your people have learned to use guerrilla warfare against the Coalition. Our people can manipulate space and time in ways your enemies cannot defend against. Together we can do more than just survive. We can win." Zara looked at Dr. Chun, who nodded encouragingly. "Sarah, is this safe? Can we trust them?" "I have been working with them for 2 weeks," Sarah replied. "They have shared their technology with me, and I have shared human scientific knowledge with them. Look at this." Sarah held up a small device that looked like a crystal wrapped in metal wires. This is a dimensional phase shifter. With this, our ships can appear and disappear instantly, moving through pocket dimensions like the Devourers do. We can attack coalition fleets and vanish before they can fight back. Whisper and the Void made a sound that might have been laughter. The coalition believes they have contained the Devourer threat by sealing our home dimension. They do not know that we have learned to create new dimensions wherever we go. They also do not know that we have been teaching your Dr. Chun how to do the same thing. Zara felt something she had not felt in 2 years. Hope. What do you want? In return for this alliance? She asked. Help us free our people who are still trapped in the sealed dimensions. Help us rebuild our species. And when this war is over, help us find a new way for all species to live together without one group controlling all the others. Zara extended her hand toward the Devourer. Deal. As Whisper the Void touched her hand with one of its strange appendages, Zara felt a shock run through her body. For just a moment, she could see through the creature's eyes and feel its thoughts. She saw the pain of losing its home dimension, the anger at being betrayed, and the hope that maybe this time, different species could trust each other. The coalition wanted to hunt humans and Devourers separately, Zara said as the connection faded. Now they will face us together. Let us see how their perfect plan works against that. 2 weeks later, the first joint human-devourer attack hit a coalition military base in the Tau Ceti system. The assault came from 3 different dimensions at once, with human ships appearing out of nowhere and devourer creatures flowing through solid walls to attack from inside the base. The coalition garrison never had a chance to send a distress signal dot when reinforcements arrived the next day. They found empty buildings and a message written on the command center wall in letters 10 feet tall. The hunt is over. Now the real war begins. 5 years had passed since the betrayal at the Dimensional Rift. Admiral Elena Vasquez stood in the war room of her flagship, now called the New Earth. Around her, holographic displays showed the current state of the galaxy and what she saw made her smile grimly. The coalition was falling apart. Red areas on the map showed coalition worlds that had been attacked by human devourer forces. Yellow areas showed coalition member species that had rebelled against their own government. Green areas showed worlds that had declared independence and joined the growing Free Galaxy Alliance. Admiral, we just received word from Captain Torres, said Commander Singh, her tactical officer. His strike force successfully destroyed the Coalition Supply Depot at Vega Prime. That cuts off military supplies to 12 coalition worlds in that sector. Elena nodded. What about our friends in the other dimensions? Whisper the Void reports that the Devourer phase squads have liberated 3 more pocket dimensions where coalition prisoners were being held. We now have over 200 Devourer allies active in normal space. Elena walked closer to the main display. Show me the latest intelligence on coalition core worlds. The display changed to show 7 planets near the center of the galaxy. These were the worlds where the original coalition leadership lived, protected by massive defense fleets and planetary shields. These are the only worlds still completely under coalition control, Commander Singh explained. But our spy networks report something interesting. They are building something big on all 7 planets at the same time. What kind of something? We are not sure yet. Dr. Chun thinks it might be some kind of weapon system, based on the energy readings her contacts are sending us. Elena frowned. The coalition had become desperate over the past year. Their member species were abandoning them faster than they could maintain control. Several alien races had even started helping humans and devourers, providing ships and weapons in exchange for protection from coalition punishment squads. Any word from our deep cover agents? Singh checked his notes. Agent Martinez on Zenther. Prime reports increased security around government buildings. Agent Patel on Krolek says the same thing. All coalition leadership has disappeared into underground bunkers. Elena knew this meant something big was about to happen. The coalition had lost most of their military power, but they still had their advanced technology. If they were building weapons on their core worlds, it could only mean one thing. They are planning something final, she said quietly. Something that will end this war one way or another. At that moment, the ship's communication system activated. Admiral Vasquez, this is Dr. Chun calling from the research station at Volf 359. I have urgent news about the Coalition weapon project. Elena pressed the communication button. Sarah, what have you found? Dr. Chun's voice sounded worried and excited at the same time. I have been working with our Devourer allies to analyze the energy patterns coming from Coalition core worlds. Elena, they are not building 7 separate weapons. They are building one massive weapon system that spans all 7 planets. What kind of weapon? A quantum bomb network? Each planet has one piece of a larger machine. When all 7 pieces activate at the same time, they will create a chain reaction that spreads across the entire galaxy. Elena felt cold fear in her stomach. Sarah, are you telling me they plan to destroy the whole galaxy? Not destroy it. Sterilize it. The quantum bombs will target specific DNA patterns and eliminate any species that matches those patterns. They can program it to kill humans, devourers, and any other species they consider dangerous, while leaving Coalition member species alive. Commander Singh stepped forward. How do we stop something like that? The system requires simultaneous activation. From all 7 core worlds, Dr. Chun continued. If even one planet fails to activate its bomb at the right time, the whole network fails. But Elena, there is something else. Something worse. What could be worse than a galaxy-wide weapon? The DNA patterns they are targeting. My sources inside. The Coalition government sent me a copy of the target list. They are not just planning to kill humans and devourers. They are planning to kill any species that show signs of rapid evolution or adaptation. Elena stared at the display showing Coalition core worlds. How many species are on that list? 47 different races, including some species that are currently Coalition members. Elena, they have been studying genetic patterns across the galaxy for years. Any species that develops human-like traits. Any species that adapts too quickly to new situations. Any species that refuses to accept limits, they are all marked for elimination. The communication room fell silent as everyone understood what this meant. The Coalition was not just trying to win a war, they were trying to prevent evolution itself. They want to freeze the galaxy in place forever, Elena said slowly. They want to make sure no species ever challenges them again. There is more, Dr. Chun continued. My analysis shows that several Coalition member species have been developing these traits over the past few years. The war with humans has taught them to think differently, to adapt faster. The Coalition leadership has decided that even their own allies are becoming too dangerous. Elena realized the full horror of the situation. They are planning to betray their own people, just like they betrayed us. Yes, and when the other Coalition species find out about this, they will understand that joining us is their only chance to survive. Elena turned to Commander Singh. Send coded messages to all our intelligence networks. I want this information spread to every Coalition world within 24 hours. Let them know exactly what their leaders are planning. Yes, Admiral. Elena looked back at the display showing the 7 core worlds. Sarah, how long do we have before they can activate this weapon? Based on the construction schedules I have seen, maybe 2 weeks. The quantum bomb network is almost ready. Then we have 2 weeks to stop them. Singh, contact all human fleet commanders. Also send messages to Whisper and the Void and the other Devourer leaders. We need to plan the biggest military operation in human history. Admiral, even with all our forces and our Devourer allies, attacking 7 heavily defended worlds at the same time will be almost impossible. Singh warned. Elena smiled, but it was not a happy expression. Commander, 5 years ago the Coalition thought it would be easy to exterminate a few scattered human survivors. They learned they were wrong. Now they think they can control evolution itself. It is time to teach them another lesson. Over the next 3 days, coded messages spread throughout the galaxy. The information about the quantum bomb network reached coalition member worlds, and the reaction was immediate. Several species that had supported the coalition for centuries suddenly declared independence and asked to join the Free Galaxy Alliance. The most dramatic response came from the Vaxillan Confederation, one of the coalition's most powerful member groups. When Vaxillan leaders learned that their own people were on the target list for the quantum bombs, they not only left the coalition but also provided Elena with detailed maps of coalition defense systems. "Admiral, the intelligence we are receiving is incredible," Commander Singh reported. "We now know the exact location of every weapon installation, every shield generator, and every fleet position around the core worlds." Elena studied the new information. The coalition spent so much time watching for attacks from outside that they never prepared for betrayal from within. "What are your orders, Admiral?" Elena looked around the war room at her officers. These people had survived 5 years of the most brutal conflict in galactic history. They had learned to fight in ways no human had ever fought before. They had adapted and evolved and become something the galaxy had never seen. "Signal all human commanders and our Devourer allies," she said. "Operation Final Justice begins in 7 days. We are going to hit all 7 core worlds at the same time, and we are going to end this war forever." "Admiral, what if we fail?" Elena thought about Captain Torres still leading hit-and-run attacks in the outer systems. She thought about Dr. Chun, who had turned an entire planet into a weapon. She thought about all the humans who had died in the original betrayal, and all the humans who had been hunted across the galaxy for 5 years. "We will not fail, Commander." The coalition made one critical mistake when they started this war. What mistake? They thought they could hunt humans without consequences. They thought they could control evolution without paying a price. They were wrong about both things. And now it is time for them to learn what happens when you betray a species that never gives up. Operation Final Justice began at exactly the same moment across 7 star systems. Admiral Elena Vasquez watched from the bridge of her flagship as thousands of human and allied ships dropped out of hyperspace around Zenther Prime, the coalition's capital world. "All strike teams report status." Elena commanded into her communication device. One by one, the voices of her fellow survivors came through the speakers. Captain Torres at Krolex Secondary. Commander Okafor at Vaxillan Corps, Dr. Chun, now commanding. Her own battle group at Theta Station. Each of the 7 teams was led by humans who had escaped the original betrayal 5 years ago. "Strike Team Alpha in position at Zenther Prime," Elena reported. "Beginning assault on planetary defenses." Around her ship, space filled with weapons fire as coalition defense platforms opened fire on the attacking fleet. But Elena's forces were not the same desperate survivors who had fled from the dimensional rift. They were now experienced warriors, equipped with both human technology and Devour dimensional weapons. "Whisper in the void, are your people ready?" Elena asked. "We are prepared, Admiral," came the alien voice from the ship's speakers. "Our phase squads are moving through pocket dimensions to attack the quantum bomb facility from inside the planetary." Shields. Elena watched her tactical display as the battle developed. The coalition had expected attacks on their core worlds eventually, but they had not expected 7 perfectly coordinated assaults happening at exactly the same time. Their defense fleets were powerful, but they were designed to fight one enemy at a time, not multiple invasions across the galaxy. "Admiral, we are detecting energy buildup from the planetary surface," reported her science officer. "The quantum bomb is beginning its activation sequence." Elena felt her heart race. "How long until full activation?" 3 hours at current power. Levels signal all teams. "We have 3 hours to shut down all 7 bombs or the galaxy dies." On Krolex Secondary.